Welcome, Soul Visionaries and potential Soul Visionaries. I am your host, Sherrod Cohen, and you are now rocking with the Soul Vision Powercast. You know, that place where we keep it unfiltered and raw. We talk about anything from porn to politics. We even talk about that shit you might have even heard or even saw. Today, we're going to talk about hyper independence and trauma. What's the connection? Let's kick it. All right, now, hyper independence and trauma. What's the connection? I first heard of this when I heard a young lady, I forgot who her name was. She had a podcast. I was listening to it, and she brought up hyper independence and black women. And so I said, man, that's kind of a neat little topic, because I know a lot of women. After she described what hyper independence is, man, I know a lot of sisters that suffer from this, like really bad. So without further ado, man, we're gonna jump off into this article right here. Hyper independence and trauma, and what's the connection? All right. Independence refers to being self-sufficient or taking care of yourself. It is often necessary to function independently as a child, as an adult, such as making and keeping your appointments, completing assignments for work, or maintaining a healthy and safe living environment. However, like any trait, independence can be dangerous when taken to an extreme. Everyone encounters challenges that they cannot tackle on their own, and everyone has needs that they cannot meet without some support. Now, independence is overrated and overstated. We work as a society interdependently, but too many of us refuse to ask for help because of our pride, our need to claim no one had helped us, because the strong independent badge is what many are seeking. Now, many women, some I personally have encountered, suffers from hyperindependence, but cry about being stressed out. Y'all can't have it both ways. Now, what is hyperindependence? Because I'm throwing that word around. What is hyperindependence? Hyperindependence refers to individuals that attempt to be fully independent in all things, even when it is not helpful to do so, or when they truly need help or support from others. When someone's need to be independent goes to an unhealthy extreme, this is hyper independence. An individual who is hyper independent will avoid asking for help or support even when this is detrimental. Hyper independence can be a trauma response. Now, here's the signs of hyper independence. See if you all suffer from some of these. Signs of hyper independence can include overachieving. Now, Overachieving is just basically doing more than expected. Some people see it as a negative. Other people just see it as, hey, you achieve what people couldn't expect, man, a pat on the back. But in this one, it says people who are hyper independent may overcommit to work or personal projects to the point that they are unable to manage the load themselves. Refusing to delegate or ask for help. Hyper-independent people will struggle to ask others to help them when they are overwhelmed, or they will be unable to pass tasks on to someone else. Now, this is my question. Do black women suffer from the superwoman complex? They got to do everything. They got to have their hands in and on everything. These women tend to blame men for their need to do everything themselves. Like they say, well, I got to do this because men won't woo, 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 woo. But in fact, they do have help but refuse to use it, especially when it comes to raising children. They're out to prove everybody wrong, that women can't do this, women can't do that, but they want to prove, hey, I can do this. Just watch me. You know what I'm saying? That type of shit. Guardedness in relationships. Close relationships are interdependent by nature. And a person who is hyper independent will struggle to let their walls down and let the other person in. Now, the guardedness in relationships, these are, for me, that what I've experienced, these are the women that refuse to let folks get close, or if they do let you in sexually, they want to do it without commitment, or they want to try to do it without feelings. All right, secretiveness. I'm going to turn my notes so we can keep up with the article. Secretiveness. Those who are hyper independent will often keep to themselves or be reluctant to share personal information that could be used against them. Now, From my personal experience, I've dealt with women that will give you bits and pieces and then withdraw and give you totally nothing. It's like, they feel like, okay, I can let you in a little bit, but then all of a sudden, whatever happens or happened or whatever they thought, they just stop it and just withdraw. And then it's even harder to get them to come back close to you again. They have a mistrust of other people. Sometimes a person is hyper independent because they worry that others will let them down or betray their trust. Now, from experience, these people sometimes have unrealistic expectations and want everything to be perfect to the point no one can achieve what they want, and they oftentimes can't achieve either. Now, the mistrust of other people is just simply for the simple fact that a lot of them have entrusted themselves have involved themselves with people that they couldn't trust, and they knew they couldn't trust, but they kept dealing with these people for long durations of time, longer than they should have dealt with these people. They have few close or long-term relationships. Because they are unable to open up to other people, it can be difficult for hyper-independent people to form and maintain friendships and romantic relationships. Now, from experience, they can't maintain the romantic relationships because they can never let go of what someone from the past did. And they tend to compare the new person with the one that wronged them. A lot of these women have those alpha widow type of deals going on. They feel like the man that they were with was the pinnacle of all men. And then, it's like they truly want to be back with the dude. It's like either alpha widow suffering from hybristophilia. They like the bad boy. They like the man that they really cannot have. Learning those terms. Alpha widow, that's that woman that had that alpha male. He just could not just commit to her 100%, but she loved him. He doesn't have to do much to get her back. All he has to do is just change just a little bit. And then these type of women, may suffer from hybristophilia. They love the bad boy. They love the guy that has a little rough edge to him or whatever. So fellas, you got to watch yourself, when you're dealing with a woman that says she has to heal from a past relationship. Stress or burnout. Now, because hyper-independent people struggle with delegating or asking for help when they need it, they often take on more than they can handle, leading to heightened stress or even burnout symptoms. Now, let me tell you something about that one. The funny thing about the burnout, the stress or the burnout symptoms is a lot of this shit is self-induced. A lot of these women burn themselves out because they want to try to do everything themselves. When you offer to help them, no, I got it. I don't need anybody. What do you think? I can't do it. And it's like, it's not that I don't think you can do it. It's just that, hell, everybody needs some help. Even men. If one of the homies come through and I'm lifting something or I'm doing something around the crib and they say, Shirai, hey, bro, you need some help? Hell yeah, I need some help. Fuck that. You know what I'm saying? It's called work smarter, not harder. I'm not trying to prove anything, to anybody that I can do it. I know I can do it, but hell, with 2 or 3 people working together efficiently, we can get done quicker. Now, a dislike of neediness. In addition to not wanting to rely on others, people who are hyper independent may resent or resist others relying on them. In other words, don't ask these people for shit because they feel like, hey, if they went about doing whatever it is they did on their own, you should be able to do it yourself. They don't want to fucking help you for shit. So don't ask. You know what I'm saying? Now, we have trauma responses. When a person experiences a disturbing, distressing, or life-threatening event that they are unable to cope with in a healthy way, this event is considered traumatic. Traumatic events can be single experiences like a car accident or a natural disaster, or they can be chronic and ongoing. Chronic successful experiences in childhood that can cause trauma symptoms later in life are called adverse childhood experiences, or ACEs. ACEs are linked to physical illness, depression, anxiety, and even early death in adulthood. When someone experiences trauma, their brain can enter survival mode. This means that they choose behaviors based on what will keep them safest in the moment. Because our brains are wired to keep us safe and alive, we tend to hold on to survival mode long after the traumatic event has passed, even if it is no longer adaptive or helpful to do so. I believe, let me finish this up first before I give my thought. In fact, we are so good at surviving traumatic events that our genetic expression can change in response to trauma, passing the trauma response down to our offspring through intergenerational trauma. Unfortunately, although this can help survive the trauma, a trauma response is often harmful outside the context of the traumatic event. Hyperindependence is one trauma response that can be maladaptive. Now, the thing is, those people that I'm talking about, they can date someone and get fucked over really bad. They'll take it into the next relationship. And instead of that person in that next relationship starting with a clean slate, they're often starting from where the person they broke up with left off. So they're being compared to them. And no matter how much this individual over here tries to show her that this is not who I am, I'm not like him, it takes only one argument. And from experience, it took one argument to lead to you're just like everybody else. So fellas, watch your ass, bro. When a woman said she needs healing, believe her. When a woman said she's not ready for a relationship, believe her. Leave that ass alone. I don't care how good the ass look. Leave that ass alone. Why is hyperindependence a trauma response? Hyperindependence can develop in response to trauma for various reasons. Not everyone who experiences a trauma will have the same trauma responses. And in fact, some people begin to believe that they are incapable of independence as a result of their trauma. Feeling undeserving of social support. Trauma survivors who experience hyperindependence may believe that they do not deserve support or help from other people. They might have been told that it is not acceptable to need help or receive support, so they become hyper-independent to avoid having that need. Past neglect. Some people's trauma includes going through periods when their needs were not met, and so they can develop hyper-independent tendencies in effect to survive. The neglect they experienced taught them that they can only rely on themselves. They might believe that others cannot or will not help them, and so there is no point in seeking help or support from others. Wow. I'm learning shit about a lot of my little past experiences with women my damn self now. Damn, I love this shit. Mistrust of others. Hyperindependence can also emerge from reluctance to trust others. The trauma survivor might have experienced abuse by their caregivers. This can lead to feeling unsafe asking for help, as they compare the concept of relying on another person with that person abusing them. Coping mechanism. Sometimes hyperindependence can be a way of coping with uncertainty. Many trauma survivors experience a loss of control as part of their trauma, and hyperindependence might be a way that they seek to regain a sense of control over their environment. And then they get into their environment where they want to control every little bit, every little piece. It's like, and then the funny thing is, for as much control as they want, they really don't have as much control as they think they have, for real. Treatment for hyperindependence. Hyperindependence is an extreme form of independence that can lead to both personal and relational issues. The hyperindependent person can run into trouble when they are unable to meet a need without help, but remain unable to seek support. Although they need help, that pride or that traumatic experience has led them to saying, no, I can't ask for help, but they actually need that shit. They also often struggle with interpersonal relationships due to their mistrust of others. Although hyperindependence is not a formal diagnosis, it is a trauma and a stress response. People with post-traumatic stress disorder or other mental health issues triggered by a trauma history might experience hyperindependence. A person, Experiencing hyperindependence can work on healthy relationships, trust, and honoring their own limitations in therapy. Because hyperindependence is a trauma response, trauma-informed care is an important component of this treatment. Now, coping with hyperindependence. An important thing to remember about trauma response is that it is a way to survive and cope in a stressful and unfair situation. While hyperindependence can cause problems, it likely helped you survive a traumatic situation if you develop this response. You can acknowledge how this response helped you at the time while working to let go of that behavior, let go of behavior that no longer serves you, So the traumatic experience is over with. It's done. There's no need to hold on to it. That's why I tell women, when you have that man that fucked you over for so many years, that's the past. Every new man coming in your life should start with a clean slate. Why let the dude from the past still control your future? It's controlled some of you women's future to the point where you say, I'm going to swear off all men because of your bad choices in men. Instead of you stepping back and looking at the big picture and saying, wow, I did that, and taking the responsibility for your decisions, you say, man, you jump over to females, and y'all often pick the same type of female the female that's similar to the man that you dealt with. Because it's a lot of what they call it IPV, intimate partner violence going on. So a lot of you women are running from abusive situations with men and running right back into them with women. Now, remember that moving past a trauma response takes time and can involve small steps forward as well as periods of regression. Be gentle with yourself and leave space for difficult times. Finally, know that support is available. Therapy can go at a pace that you are comfortable with, and there is no deadline by which you have to get better. Take your time finding a provider who is a good fit, and know that you can let go of the maladaptive coping patterns that helped you survive your past. Brothers, I like to put this information out, man. I talk about a bunch of different things, and when I learn something, I like to share it. I like to put it out there because guess what? Just like I didn't know, y'all may not know. And then you can just, don't use this as a way to diagnose all women, like all women call men narcissists. He's a narcissist. Don't do it that way. But at least if you know what some of this stuff is, you can see some of the signs and whatnot. You can better judge, the character of the women you're trying to deal with. That's all I'm saying. Just be careful who you're dealing with, man, because as a black man, this is America, and we are the doormat. We are the doormat to America. Everybody step on us to come on in and feel comfortable. If you like the video, hit the like button. If you're not a soul visionary, hit the subscribe button as well. And then if you like and you subscribe, you're a soul visionary, or you think somebody else should become one, hey, share the content. Let's grow the community, and let's have these open, honest conversations with one another. And let's do this shit without it being censored. Let's do this shit without being hypersensitive. Let's do this shit without being extra judgmental with one another. Let's have communication. Let's have conversations with one another that we can learn from one another, that we can teach, that we can just, at the end of the day, even if we don't agree, at least we'll get a better understanding of who we're dealing with. Peace.